Okay, so let's have a little look at contemporary portraits. Contemporary means it's recent. So these contemporary portraits, they are highly detailed and realistic. They often use a range of materials and techniques, including influences such as graffiti. So we're going to do a detailed and realistic eye with some graffiti patterns on top. So we'll start off just by making the eye look realistic first of all, and we'll just start off just in the centre. So we can see our pupils here, that'll be shaded dark, and then this part of the eye is the iris. And if you look in somebody's eye, you will see that the iris is made up of lots of little lines, and they usually, I say usually, they always, they always go in a clockwise direction, just like that. So I've just mapped out a few little lines just to help me when I do this. First of all, I'm just going to draw lots of nice controlled, very light lines in that clockwise direction using my pencil. Try to get these lines nice and parallel to one another. Going off in a clockwise direction like that. And then the next thing that we are going to do, we're just going to darken up that outside line. And we are going to darken up, just leave that little highlight. We're going to darken up that pupil. So that's going to be nice and black because our pupil is black. Okay, so now we've added them. Some of the lines we're going to just darken up, just some of them, not all of them. So I'm going to start to introduce some new lines coming from the pupil, still working in that clockwise direction. They're all going to be different lengths though this time, and there's not going to be lots. So I'm bringing them out different lengths, just like that. Then from that outside line, I'm going to draw some darker lines that are moving towards the pupil, again in that clockwise direction. And we can see that the iris is looking a little bit more realistic now. I think a lot of people are tempted to just draw those lines all the same tone. But if we do them in lots of different tones, then it looks a lot more realistic. Okay, so the next thing to do, we are going to add a skin tone. And we do this before we draw the eyelashes. So I'm just outlining that eye so I know I'm not going in there. Put a little bit of a tear duct, so just draw that tear duct in. And then I know that my eyelid's going to go here, I don't want that to disappear. And then this is my waterline, where people wear eyeliner. So that's my waterline. And that's going to stay white. So I'm very lightly with my pencil going to add a little bit of shading now. And just as we've said before, when you are shading, you follow the shape, the outline of the shape. So I'm just going around the eye, just like that. You can use your finger just to give that a little bit of a blend, just so that it softens it up a little bit. When we do portraits, we want to be using nice soft tones on the skin. Okay, so I've just done under the eye, and again I'm using my finger just to do a little bit of smudging. And I'm going to bring that down and let it just fade away. Now I'm going to do the same again on top of the eyelid, following the outline of the eye and doing it really nice and lightly. And then I'm going to give that a little smudge as well, and then just let that fade away. If you've lost that nice dark line for your eyelid, just pop it back in. I've lost mine. I'm going to use a thick line weight over here and then thinner going down towards the tear duct. I'm just going to put a nice dark line across the top of the eye, because that's where all of your eyelashes meet up, so it is going to look dark. Right, there we go. And then I might just darken this a little bit up again. What you could do, rather than leaving the centre of the eye just completely white, just to make it look a little bit more realistic, and I'm just adding a little bit of a curve to there, make that look round. So just to make this bit look a little bit more realistic, very, very lightly, just a curved line, and then you can smudge it with your fingers. So just a few tiny little curved lines, and then smudge it with your finger. And when you are smudging, you want to be curving rather than doing it just up and down so it looks flat. Just on top of this eyelid, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to add a little bit of a darker tone on this side, let it fade off there, and then as it comes along I'm going to just let that get lighter towards this part of the eye. Just let that get light, and then just run your finger along again just to blend it. So now we've got that realistic eye. We've got one last thing to do. We're just going to draw some eyelashes in, and when I draw eyelashes in, they are going to curve. Just make sure you get that direction right. They are curving. So I'll just draw a few just so that I know which direction they're going in. So on this side of the eye they're going to curve this way, and on this side of the eye they're going to curve that way. And then when they meet in the middle ones are just going to go straight up. Nice and straight, just like that. So now we've put the direction in. Now what I'm going to do, and you can play around at the bottom of your page again with line weight. So you might have some that are thick and chunky, and some that are really light and little. And if we use a variation of them, it'll look like realistic eyelashes. So realistically, sometimes eyelashes cross over one another. They're not all perfectly straight. So I'm going to do a couple of light ones and then a dark one. Don't forget to let some of them cross over one another. Yeah, when we get to the inside of the eye, they're going to get smaller. There's going to be less of them. They tend to cross over a bit more there. And they're smaller in length as well. And then when we get to the outside of the eye, they're usually a bit longer. So just like that. And then when we get to the bottom of the eye, we're going to have some little small ones. They are spaced further apart. And they get really small towards the centre of the eye, towards the tear duct, sorry. There we go. So we've got our realistic looking eye now. I'm just going to put a bit of detail on that tear duct. We've got our realistic looking eye now. And what we need to do is put some graffiti marks. So just at the bottom of our page, we are going to have a little practice of graffiti. So what we could do with our pencil, the easiest thing to do to make a graffiti-like mark is use the edge of your pencil and do like a sort of scribble. You could use the tip of your pencil and do a scribble, but it's a sharper effect, so we're getting different effects now. So side of your pencil, and then the tip of your pencil. So like that. So we've got different line weights going on. We could even include some graffiti like symbols. So graffiti artists, quite a lot, they use crosses. Yeah, They might even use words. And they usually, you know, they're not dead neat. So usually the letters will have like a long bit sticking off just one of the little lines. I'll do another example for you. And then they'll change angle. Just like that. So they might even use little symbols such as crowns. They do that quite a lot. Graffiti artists, they'll do a crown, they'll do crosses. They might do stars. They might do just little symbols such as knots and crosses. They might do a symbol for money, so an American dollar, or they might do a pound sign. They might do what most people will recognise. I'm just going to change to, they might do a hashtag. So if we use all of these lovely markings, the letters, the wording, the symbols, the marks, and then we'll get a graffiti effect, okay? So I'm going to start off with my lightest colours first. We always start off with them lightest colours. I'm just going to get some colour in the background, different angles. Think about being quite controlled with your scribbling. It's not just being messy for the sake of messy. You might even write a tag, so if you've got a nickname, you might put that on there. They use arrows quite a lot. That's one thing that I forgot. Arrows. And there we go, we've got one contemporary style graffiti eyes.